When we think of words like irrational, immature, and petulant and childish, we tend to think of a pubescent adolescent boy or somebody under the age of 7. Unfortunately, we're talking about Donald J. Trump all the time. The problem is when those qualities as president damage American lives, as he is doing right now in this breaking story. I'm going to show you in just a few seconds. And the person who just from the Republican side of the aisle, a respected, high-quality human who just told the world, Donald, you're an idiot. I'll show you that to you in a few seconds, but let's bear in mind, leopards don't change their spots. This is a little quick note from Donald Trump himself with Charlie Rose. Take a listen.
Some of the people that were least loyal to me are people that I think I would have treated them differently. I think I would have treated different groups differently. I would have wiped the floor with the guys that weren't loyal, which I will now do, which is great. You know, I love getting even with people.
So when someone who has vengefulness over being betrayed because someone isn't blindly loyal, you know, like Michael Cohen and anyone else in Trumposphere land, right now Elon Musk, what happens to American people, citizens, is what we're witnessing. And on this breaking story, a top former GOP cabinet member just railed on Donald Trump over this particular subject right here.
Administration claims its sudden war on elite universities like Harvard is all about anti-Semitism. The Wall Street Journal, though, says it goes back farther than that, 2019 to be exact, and that it actually started with a sucker punch to the face. This has been a long-standing complaint among Republicans that they don't get a fair shake at college campuses, that college campuses are places where people become liberals, they become Democrats, they get more educated because they get more educated by liberal Democrats and then become liberal Democrats. They get indoctrinated.
That's not what a lot of this is about. Look, I was a Republican and I was teaching at an Ivy League campus. I taught at Dartmouth for many years. I taught at Harvard. Some of what's going on the right here, and it's an ugly thing to talk about, but it's status envy. It's feeling like being part of an out-group. As you pointed out, you have people like Miller who went to Duke. You have Ted Cruz who went to Princeton and Harvard. You have, all of these people, J.D. Vance who went to Yale, and yet somehow felt like they were part of an out-group or a disadvantaged group. And this is like kids who are mad at their high school, deciding that they want to become the principal and shut down all the cool kids clubs.
What a tremendous analogy that is. A bunch of kids who want to take over being principal and shut the school down because, we don't like it. That's exactly who Donald Trump is. It's exactly how he conducts his presidency. And that is why in this breaking story, George W. Bush's former Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice, just said this on Fox and Friends.
The scientific research base of the United States of America is the research university. We made that decision 80 years ago. We don't have a plan B. And so I am a major believer in making sure that we are able to continue the kind of research that produced the stem cell revolution, that produced, actually at Stanford, the double helix, that produced the heart transplant. We just have to make sure, especially at a time when we are being challenged by China along the technological front.
But you also agree that to get a message to these universities, funding is basically the only way that gets their attention?
I don't know. I just want to make sure that when we come out of all of this, that scientific funding is intact. Because, Brian, we will pay a price if we don't have scientific funding to do the things that have led to this magnificent innovation that we have.
With our university system.
It's just where we chose to put fundamental research 80 years ago, and we actually don't have a plan B.
This is part of the challenge for all of us. Not only in Trumposphere land back in 2016 to 2020 and now 2024 and moving forward, is there are a lot of mechanisms. There are a lot of systems. There are a lot of things that are set up in this country that we're not responsible for it. We don't understand. We don't know how they work. We don't know how they got put in place. When you hear Condoleezza Rice talk about the benchmark of a lot of American health being predicated on the research and a system we don't have a plan B for, this was set up 80 years ago. And Trump is attacking that because Barron didn't get into Harvard because he had poor grades, because people like Stephen Miller went to Duke and he's jealous. This is what we as dudes call a pissing contest. But when you have a pissing contest over things as crucial as cancer research and thousands of other important subjects, you're not being a president. You're just being a punk and a bully and a vengeful adolescent, pubescent child. Yes, it's not a shock that that's who Donald Trump is. But it is, however, going to be a shock to the system of millions of Americans over the course of the next 3.5 years if we continue to let this man get away with doing this. In the meantime, please breathe. Please try to smile. Enjoy your life. Talk to your friends and those you don't agree with. Stay frosty.